jolly good.
Hello, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Clayton Zoka, and welcome to another My Thoughts On. Today, I'll be talking about Stardust. Stardust, yeah. So this is the 2007 family action fantasy movie directed by Matthew Vaughn. Same guy who directed. What did he direct? Let me tell you. He directed the two Kingsman movies. He directed X-Men First Class, Kick-Ass as well, and Layer Cake. I've only seen the Kingsman movies, and I will do my thoughts on the first Kingsman for the Kingsman. But I like his style. I think he's a really competent director, and he seems to know what he's doing. I haven't seen Kick-Ass, which I should, because it looks really good. He produced pretty much a lot of Taron Egerton stuff, like Eddie the Eagle, Rocket Man, as well. He also produced Kick-Ass 2. He no longer returns as the director for that, but we're getting off topic here a little bit. So Stardust is based on a book by Neil Gaiman, same guy who did the book for Coraline, and one that I remember when I was quite a young lad. The Wolves in the Walls. No, Wolves in the Walls. Jesus. So I haven't seen this film. I've seen bits of it at a club when I was about. When did the film come out? It came out in 2007, so I would have been 8 at the time. And we saw it on DVD. We watched it. I don't remember a lot of it. I think I just watched bits of it, really. I don't remember that much about it. I just remember the title, kind of what it's about and who's in it. It's a very peculiar film that I've just never heard of. It's so bizarre. It really, really is. And people say it's either a new family fantasy classic or it's actually surprisingly really good. Well, that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to find out if this is really the one. So, what's Stardust about? It's about this young lad named Tristan Thorne. He is played by Charlie Cox, who you know him from From the Theory of Everything and Daredevil. What's his goal? Is to marry a woman by finding a falling star. He wants to marry Victoria, played by Selena Miller from American Sniper. And what happens? He finds the falling star to be a girl named Yvain, played by Claire Danes. And so he has to return her to Victoria, so he can marry her. However, there is this evil witch named Lamia, I think that's how you pronounce it, played by Michelle Pfeiffer. And she wants the star. I'm going to call her the star from now on because I can't really pronounce her name correctly, so sorry. She wants to use her to stay young, so she's like the queen, the witch from Snow White in a way. In a way, this film is more like a take on classic fairy tales in a way and just doing something with them. At the same time, there is these brothers who want to be king. One of them named Septimus, played by Mark Strong. He wants to get a diamond or something from the stars so he can be king forever as well. So, yeah, that's pretty much about it. And they come across all sorts of things. Flying pirates and these flying ships, One of them played by Robert De Niro, who's the captain too. This is a very, very. I'm not gonna talk too much about the movie like Rock of. I was say Rock of Ages. No, School of Rock. I'm very, very sorry. Um, but this is a very peculiar and very different kind of a movie. So where do I start? First off, I've never read the book, and you're probably thinking, "Oh, that's very typical of you, Clank." Well, I've never heard of the book. I've heard of the movie, and that's usually quite common when someone has heard of the adaptation movie version than it is of the original source material. I mean, I know who Neil Gaiman is. He wrote the no, yeah, he wrote the Wolves in the Walls. Which, if there was a movie about that, I think that could work. So, how does Stardust hold up? Well, fun fact: my girlfriend actually recommended it to me, and I said I'll watch it, but I didn't watch it in like 4 or 5 months. I was busy, so I had just the right time to watch it, and yeah, it's really good. I can't say it's flawless or perfect. There are things in the film that either have little to no sense or are kind of dumb, but I actually had a good time with Stardust. The one thing I will give this film props for is that it's dark. Like, it's not shy away to kill someone on screen. Granted, there is a scene where they kill, I think, a rat or something with these three witches. They do it off camera, which on one hand I'm thankful for, but if they had the audacity to like stab these people on screen, and I mean stab them, no blood coming out, but just like see a sword go through them, and that's apparently perfectly fine, and saying all these mild swear words. So killing the rat off screen is too much, but then killing people and like using them to fight and then using all these voodoo magic and all these horrible looking creatures is perfectly fine. I can't complain too much, but really, let me remind you that this film is not. I mean, it's PG, so it doesn't. So it doesn't automatically mean it's a kids' film. I mean, kids can watch it fine if they're, if you don't feel too weary about how dark and how strange it is, because this film does not shy away from killing people, and it's on one hand that's a good thing, but on the other hand I think this is a bit too dark for children, to be fair. I think for anyone who's like over the age of 10 will probably like it, but anyone below that will either get confused or just don't like it. Storytelling is basic fairy tale story stuff. Someone goes on the quest to get something, and then also in typical movie fashion, two main characters don't get along. They have very strange quirks. They do kind of like each other, and then kissy kissies. I'll leave it there because as much as I really enjoyed this movie, one of the few things that this film suffers from is a plot. I know I say that a lot, but honestly, these films have become so repetitive and so samey, and this film is no different. It is very predictable, and I'll give it credit that there were a couple of times that I didn't know where it was going in a way, and it was very unpredictable to see how dark it quickly turns, which is good, but it just goes for it, and it also just goes in a very straightforward manner. It doesn't help really that there's a bit too much going on, and some of these characters are just kind of there just to be silly and goofy, or to see how great these actors are. And trust me, there are like so many actors in these films that I recognize. In this film, I recognize, but I'll get to that in a minute. The sequence of events that happens aren't very eventful. There's a couple of fights here and there, and the ending fight is kind of cool and interesting, but nothing really exciting, but still pleasant and fits in with what it's trying to be. The film's humour is been there, done that. It's typical, stylish, silly humour that's not shy away from having a couple of adult jokes again, which I quite like. But there are a few scenes that are quite groany. Like there's a scene where Michelle Pfeiffer looks young, and then she takes her robe off, and then on one hand, she is a nice looking actress, but on the other hand, this is one of those movies where it just relies on poop humor, naked humor, and humor about gross things. And there are a couple of times where the film just gets so tiresome with its humor. Not all the time, just sometimes. The characters, there isn't much to say about them other than what their goals are. So our main lad here, Tristan, just wants to marry a girl, and that's it. He has a bit of personality and he's likeable, but that's about it. The star is the same, really. She just wants... Actually, what does she want? I can't remember, because... I get it, she's the love interest and the main reason why these characters are on a journey, at least for the villains anyway. But I don't remember what her goal was. Was it to find love? I've said too much. So Septimus, I wouldn't say he's the villain. He's not the main villain, but he's more like the man who just wants to be king, and that's it. You may think he's the bland, boring villain, but actually he's not bad. Sure, he is more serious and more uptight than Lamia, but he is a decent presence, and he does provide a couple of decent lines, and he's well performed by Mark Strong as well. The main villain, Lamia, is quite a joy to watch. I think she's a really fun, really scary looking villain. I was kind of surprised by how off-putting she looked. Everyone else, like you got Captain Shakespeare, played by Robert De Niro, who is only in the film for about maybe 10 to 15 minutes. I kind of thought he'd be in the film longer, but he isn't. But in the amount of time he's in, he is genuinely really fun. Just really fun. Everyone else just kind of plays a very key role, significant small role, or just not that big of a role at all. The flipping father of Christian, who I can't remember who plays him. Nathaniel. I can't pronounce his name. Nathaniel Parker. He was actually in the film I talked about on Monday, Moomins on the Riviera, as Moomin Papa. That's a big coincidence. I wasn't aware of that. Wow. I recognised him, but I didn't recognise his voice. Okay, let's talk about the cast, because this is the biggest and most impressive cast I've ever seen. Usually these types of films would have like all-out celebrity, US celebrities, UK celebrities. This film, about 40% has that, but then the rest are... Like, if you live in the UK, if you've watched so many films and shows with these actors, you'll know instantly who they are. Let me tell you. You've got Humphrey, this uptight, very broad and very manly moustache-wearing brat, played by a very unrecognisable and pre-Man of Steel Henry Cavill. Yeah, who knew that Superman was in a movie way before a movie about Superman? The late Peter O'Toole plays the king in here. Jason Fling, who was in Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, is in it. Also, Fletcher Dexter's in it too. Mark Heap from Friday Night Dinner, Space, Stressed Eric is in here. Rupert Everett from Shrek is in it, and coincidentally, Shrek 3 came out within the same year as this film. Interesting. David Walliams too, Adam Buxton, Mark Williams, Rupert's dad from Harry Potter. Even Ricky Gervais has a small role in the movie, and he's actually not annoying. I never found Ricky Gervais annoying, but he was quite funny, even if his role was like literally like 5 or 6 minutes. Ian McKellen's the narrator. Selena Miller is the love interest. Victoria. David Kelly, who was in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, is in here too. Big cast, really impressive British cast. Sure, some of them are quite obvious to put in, like, you know, Rupert Everett. Obviously, I think he was kind of big at the time in terms of British celebrities to put in the movies. But yeah, visually the movie looks good. It looks very, very good. There's nice style to it, nice colour. Even the effects are sometimes good. And I say sometimes because there are a few times where it looks off, like in the opening with the elephant and the eyeballs. I was like, yeah, this film does not look like it has aged well. Besides that, it's aged perfectly fine. There's nothing about it that's like revolutionary, but you know, the makeup, the costumes, it all looks quite serviceable and nice, but nothing out of the ordinary. It looks beautiful, it's got nice cinematography, so it's a good looking movie, but just not great. Even the score by, hang on, what's his name? Is it Liam or Elam Eskeri? Who did the music for Get Santa and the first Shaun the Sheep movie, is really nothing special. It's a perfectly serviceable score as well, and I think he's done really good music, but this is definitely not one of the strongest scores by him. Shaun the Sheep's better. So despite a couple of very lost and very strange, cliched, dull figgy. So despite being flawed, Stardust is a surprisingly good time. I can't say it's amazing. It's a pretty great movie that I think I'm trying to put into words. The acting, actually, I did say who was in the film, but the acting is actually quite good. Yeah, the acting's good. It looks good visually. I enjoyed the story, even if it was very repetitive and predictable. Some of the characters I thought were funny, but that's about it. It has a nice fantasy element to it, which does work, and it can have some funny moments. So I had a great time with this movie, and there was a lot that I liked more than I disliked. But despite being quite dumb and quite silly and goofy, predictable, and the characters, some of them are not excitingly interesting or anything, and can be a little bit dumb, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. I wouldn't say this is like amazing or anything, but give it a watch. It is a really good time. I do highly recommend it. So I'll guess I'll give it a... What should I give it? An 8 out of 10, of course. Not amazing, not flawless, but pretty great. So there you go, Stardust. Yeah, I can see why people really like this movie. I personally, like I said, I haven't seen it before. I've seen bits of it, but yeah, I'm glad I watched it. So today is Friday. Another Round is out. It almost rhymed. Boss Baby 2 is out, at least in at least in the United States. So I'll be watching that today. My Thoughts on should be out by tomorrow, and I'll be seeing Another Round tomorrow as well. That should be out Sunday, hopefully, if I actually do get to see it. So I look forward to those. And if you have seen Stardust, what do you think about it? Is the book better, or is the movie better? Is it good? Yeah, is it good, bad, decent? Do you want to see it? Let me know below. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe, and until next time, bye for now.